Team. We should have had an acronym for team, you know? Team. I'm gonna have an acronym for this next time, Dan. I think it's that important.
Sounds good to me, man.
So important, man. How you doing, buddy?
Doing, man. You know how it is, man.
What do you mean?
Every day is what it is.
Man, Daniel, man, get out of here with that mess. What happened today while my roundup homies are logging on? What happened today? Paperwork day.
You know, it is what it's that time of the month, man. Consolidating checkbooks and making sure payroll's all done. And
good Lord. Okay.
You know, it is paying the credit card bills. The day in the life, the side that no one tells you about, right?
You should record that boring mess one day. Maybe somebody some people find that stuff interesting, you know, like accountants and bookkeepers and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just YouTube.
It's because you don't. I don't. I'm like, shit, keep me way away from that stuff. But I still have to do it. Roundup. Greetings, class. What's going down? It's Chris Haskins. I'm your local neighborhood, all around nice guy.
This is true. That's well said. It's the actual truth.
Thank you, brother. Roundup. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship and content creation. I'm going to add that on too. Doing that, I get to introduce you to the people that my consultants, mentors, friends, colleagues, acquaintances. This man here has been doing the real estate business since 1989. He's richer than me, smarter than me. I told you I like to hang out with people that have more than I do. So, Daniel Borrero, how you doing, my friend?
Good, thank you. Thank you for the acclimates. But we all, listen, guys, don't believe him. I'm not smarter than him, nor am I richer than him. Chris is the guy. He's the man. He knows it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor to me amongst giants, right?
Yes, it is. It's good to be in the same room as you, Chris.
That's right. So today, I literally called Daniel this morning. I'm like, Dan, last night, I get these premonitions. And I'm reading the book, by the way, Daniel. It's Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. It's a little known book by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Do you know chapter 8? This man was visited by a being. Okay. He talks about being visited by a being from the Himalayan mountains. And he, at the beginning of the chapter, he goes, you know what? I'm putting this chapter. I'm 80 years old. I'm putting this in the book. I know a lot of you aren't going to believe me, but here we go. Boom. It's Daniel, man, this book is, I know Think and Grow Rich was good, but this one, he wrote it when he was older. So he's looking back over his life. He's visited by this being, right? I think it's one of the Masons. He was like the guy deconstructed his body. And these guys, there's 33 of these master teachers, he calls them. And they get to travel anywhere they want at any time. They can travel thousands of miles at any time, right? And he says this, the being was in his room and he goes, who are you? And he's having a talk with the guy. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you everything he said, but the main thing is Napoleon Hill had earned the right to be visited by these beings because he had mastered these, I think it was 23 devils that we all need to master. So I'll get into that later roundup, but a few of those devils.
Go ahead. Just bringing them up, your audience, anything he wrote, you should be reading. I haven't read that one yet. I didn't even know it existed.
Little known. It's not popular.
But I will, only because you're recommending it, to be honest with you.
Damn. God. I'm talking to my mom, right? I'm like, Mom, this man assisted presidents. He was the right-hand man of Andrew Carnegie. He rolled with Rockefeller. Why would he lie? Why the hell would he lie about this?
I equate him, and I don't know. Many people probably disagree with me. Some may agree with Machiavelli. Machiavelli was he wrote, I forget the name of the book, but it was essentially during the Enlightenment period where he became the advisor to the kings and queens. Mm-hmm. And Napoleon Hill, I consider to have been the advisor to, the the masterminds of industry of Carnegie and J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller. That was their time, right, during the Industrial Revolution. So
that's right.
Yeah, anything he wrote, I would highly recommend that you read.
Man, so anyway, I just wanted to say that to say I believe in the supernatural. I don't know about you, but I thoroughly believe that there's a creator, or some type of external forces that are guiding me. I don't have all the answers, my ancestors and all that stuff. So round up. So today I wanted to talk to you. My mentor says, Chris, this is a team sport. They put it on my spirit last night. I'm like, man, a lot of people trying to do this by themselves. This is a team sport. So when I reached out to Daniel this morning, come on in, bro. I reached out to Daniel this morning and I was like, listen, bro, would you mind being a time traveler for us for a little while? I know you've been doing this since 1989, but could you just go back in time? Share with us, Daniel, some of the secrets, tips, and strategies that you used to build your team, contractor, closing people, and the third one with title company, attorney. Because you got some secrets.
When you asked me that question, excuse me, when you had asked me that question today, do you remember what I said to you?
You were like, man, I don't know, just do it.
Exactly. So I guess I have all this in my head, but I've never really formulated, guys. I've never really put it pen to paper, right? And Chris is always challenging me in that reference. He's like, well, how did you start this and how did you do that? And well, Chris, I just did it. I mean, it just you just figure it out as you go along.
Yeah, right.
And so after I hung up the phone with you, I actually started to write some notes down saying, you know what, I think Chris is challenging me again and making me write down certain things. And I did. I actually took out my scrap paper and wrote some things down.
Look at that.
So because it's already up here, and sometimes I forget that I've already forgotten what most people are still learning.
Say that again. Stay there for a minute. You've forgotten what most of us have learned, Daniel. What do you mean by that?
So in my mind, when I'm looking at a situation, I'm going through, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then every step there's additional steps below it, right? So, but when you do it every day and you do it on a continuous basis, you don't even realize that you're going through those steps in your mind. And it happens in seconds, right? So I started to write down how I built my team today as a result of the conversation I had with you, and as a result of trying to provide some value in this content.
So you want to start? It was 3: contractor, realtor, closing company. Or do you have 3 categories, or do you have just more people than that, Daniel?
You have to have more people than that, right?
Yep.
So it all depends, but it also depends if you're doing this locally within your own environment, ecosystem, I would say, or are you looking to go out of state, for instance? So when you're looking to do this on an out of state basis, and you want to become more efficient, where you can make decisions like this, right, based on hours and minutes, not days. Yeah, you have to have more people on a team. So again, it's all depending on the context that you are that you want to explain this in. So I'm not sure if you want to, but the majority of it is always the same. There's just 2 or 3 more individuals you have to throw into the mix if you're doing it from a distance, to say.
I think let's get a core, and then I believe if you start locally in the local market, then we can kind of orbit around doing it on an external market, perhaps.
Yeah. So tell me what
contractor. Go ahead. Which one you want to start with?
I don't normally start with the contractor. The way I started more was with finding the right realtor, right?
Realtor. Let's do it. And it's realtor. It's realtor roundup. It's not realtor.
Right. Realtor.
Good God.
So especially in the beginning, right? So I never got into the wholesale end in the beginning. Neither was there enough. Neither was there, and we didn't have this platform where we could learn how to do this. using and neither was the new technology that we all have available to us today available. And but believe it or not, I still used, my old school format, and I incorporate that with new technology that we use today and that everyone uses. Correct.
Yep.
So, do I go out and I look for deals that are not on the MLS? Absolutely. But you'd be surprised developing relationships with the right realtor. What that affords you is the realtors most likely will get the phone call first. And if they have an outlet that they know, even though they're going to make a little less money on that commission because the acquisition cost is going to be less selling to people like us, like Chris and I, or if you're on here, if you want to become a real estate investor, of course, you're never going to want to pay market. But they know it's an easy sale, it's quick, and they're going to get back that property to sell again when it's finished and done because they did such a fabulous job selling it to you.
So it sounds like to me when you're talking to let's talk about screening realtors, perhaps. Dan, go ahead. I'm gonna follow you, bro.
No, that's the basic thing, right? So now what I normally do, and my partner, who's my brother, first thing we do is we go on to Zillow. If you have an active realtor, Zillow they're going to be screaming to the mountaintops their acclimates, all their accomplishments, their closings, how many days on the market, showing how quickly they were able to sell it. Now, if you have an active, those realtors, that's the easy way to find a realtor. To find an active realtor. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a realtor that's going to be good for you or I, because many of these realtors are concentrating on selling single-family homes to end users, or maybe two-family homes. That's not somebody that you want to work on your behalf, because they're immediately going to think, I'm not going to want to present your offer because it's too low. And when they go, and if they do present it, they're being forced to present it, and they're not going to sell your offer because they don't have the enthusiasm or the energy when they're presenting it. So you want a realtor that is active in the market, working with other real estate investors, so that they understand what you're looking for, and preferably a realtor that is not only working with other real estate investors, but is also a real estate investor themselves. Because now they're wearing, they're wearing a different pair of glasses, and they understand what they have to look for, and they're not spinning their wheels unnecessarily, nor are they sending you information on property that there's no deal to be made on.
So are we looking for, when we go to Zillow, Dan, are we looking for properties that have been renovated, perhaps?
I'm not as much looking for property to buy. I'm looking for active realtors on Zillow.
I'm saying, I understand that, but I'm saying, we get realtors that represent a lot of mom and pops, but are we looking for properties that are fixed up with that realtor? I'm just trying to get a vision.
Not necessarily,
picture.
because you don't know that, right? You don't know if that realtor was involved with that, with any aspect of that property other than the buying and the selling side. So sometimes they are much more involved. But the thing is, if they are involved, that realtor is also going to give you contacts to contractors, to subcontract. They'll give you they're going to tell you where to buy supplies, a cleaning company, contractors, subcontractors, the trades, a good electrician, a good plumber. So, who's a good property manager? A lot of times they themselves are property managers. Some of the best deals that I've gotten are realtors that are property managers, because now they're selling their own clients' properties, and they're willing to go and beat up that client on your behalf, because now you're going to become that client. So they're not losing that inventory.
So when I'm on Zillow, tell me where I'm doing. Am I looking for a realtor that has more than one listing, or just give me who am I looking for?
You're looking for realtors that have high ratings. You're looking for realtors that show activity, because it tells you how many closings they've had in those zip codes. So when I go on, I'm looking for specific zip codes, and when I click on those zip codes, they're going to give you First of all, you got the realtors you're going to get immediately on top of the realtors that are actually paying to be on top. That doesn't.
That's what we want to. Is that what we're looking
No,
for?
that doesn't necessarily mean they are the best realtors. They just happen to be spending the most money. You got to go down the line and look at each and every individual single one of them. I'll tell you a quick story. My brother and I, we had 3 major realtors in Florida, in Central Florida. They were, when I say main realtors, they were strictly working just on our behalf. We were doing about 180 closings a year.
Good God.
And it wasn't fast. We could, these guys were so inundated with paperwork that it wasn't that they weren't hungry enough. It wasn't that they weren't working hard enough, because they were. But we needed at least 1 to 2 more realtors to get up over 200 closings. So, and it was bothering me. So one night about 3:00 in the morning, I got up, couldn't wait. It just hit me that the idea hit me in my sleep, believe it or not. And I said to myself, you know what? While I had a burst of energy, let me do this now. And I went on to Zillow, and I went every realtor within each zip code that we worked in. I sent them an email. I have, multiple properties I want to sell. Please contact me. And of course, at the time, the person who was dealing with the realtors was my brother, David, who's my partner. And this was like 3:00. Well, no. Yeah, about 3:00 in the morning. About 5:00 in the morning, I must have sent out 200 or 300 emails. And I didn't email him to let him know that, to expect these calls. Well, at 7:00 in the morning, he calls me up. He goes, what the hell did you do? The phone doesn't stop ringing. Like, what the hell did you do? And I started laughing. I said, you know what? I should have sent you an email. But now I'm half asleep because I finally got 2 hours. I'm only 2 hours into my sleep, right? But out of 300 emails that I sent out, and out of about 90 phone calls that we got, we were only able to get 2 good realtors.
Good gosh.
And that still work with us until today. Yeah. So
wow.
It's a very long process. It's an exhausting process. It's a lot of trial and error.
What'd you say to them?
We just explained who you are. Once I gave them the company name, they knew exactly who we were. Most of them were extremely excited to work with us because they knew the volume that we were doing.
Well, a lot of my rounduppers aren't going to be doing as much volume as you, Dan. So what are you going to give our rounduppers that don't do, as much as that?
Well, I would just tell them strictly be honest with them. Tell them this is what I'm looking for. This is the criteria I want. These are the numbers I'm looking at doing. These are the parameters of the deal that it has to be in. If you could find it, send it to me. What happens is, guys, a lot of times realtors get properties that they don't want to put on the MLS. They want to try to keep it in house. The commissions are greater.
Yeah.
So, and they have they could get some states. All the states have different rules, right? Some states say you have to have it on the MLS within 48 hours. Some say you have to have it on the MLS within 24 hours.
It's 48 here.
Yeah. If they could get that on the contract before they have to put it on the MLS,
they love it.
And then, like, literally within an hour after putting it on the MLS, they put down pending.
Yeah, they love it.
Right? Because they've already got the buyer set up. So they're getting the credit on the MLS. They're getting the credit on Zillow. They're getting the credit with the franchise that they're with, whether it's
numbers,
RA, Remax, Weicker, doesn't matter. And it makes them look good. And it gives them, more awards at the end of the year within the same franchise that they're in. They become platinum status, gold status, and
right. I got to push you forward. We have 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still on the first one. So anything else on realtors? I know you're talking about
a lot of word of mouth. Once you get into the business, constantly ask guys. I don't care if it's the contractor. I don't care if it's the title agent. I don't care if it's the attorney, if there's an attorney on the deal, a subcontractor. Everybody knows somebody. Don't think that nobody knows anybody. Referrals are probably the best way, one of the best ways to find, whether it be a realtor, contractor, expediter, architect, attorney, title agent, regardless, ask, always ask.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Somebody's cousin or family member could give you a heads up. I never even thought about that.
Right. Always ask.
Well, I always think I know I got to go out there and find out myself, but I mean, that's anybody. I like to work with brokers, Dan. What do you think about that?
Brokers in what sense? Real estate brokers or real estate realtors?
Real estate brokers, like they're in charge of the whole firm. They
So
make the
I
rules.
find that they're usually very obtuse. I find that the brokers start coming to me when they start seeing the realtors bringing in the numbers from our organization.
Who's this guy?
Yeah, exactly. Before that, they kind of like, these guys just
Yeah,
won't
whatever.
smoke. Yeah. Um,
All right.
so yeah, although one of the things I've found is you want a realtor that goes to the weekly meetings, right? So 99% of the real estate offices have a weekly meeting. They call it Thursday morning meetings, Wednesday morning meetings. Those realtors that attend those meetings are now in there with other active realtors and they start talking to each other at the end of the meeting. Or sometimes the broker themselves will say, hey, you know what? Chris just bought in this deal. If anybody's interested, it's going on the MLS tonight. So if you got any buyers,
Yeah.
want to present it.
Gotcha.
Those are the
All
guys,
right.
the realtors you really want to work with, and the brokers. And that's a great office because the brokers are making sure that the realtors are talking to each other and networking within that particular broker themselves to keep the commissions to themselves.
So with 20 minutes, we got 90 people on. Dan, give us a quick one-liner. Then we're going to move on to the next one. Give us a one-liner where we're calling up, we're sending out emails. Give us what we say when we talk to them.
I want to buy 90 units this year. Can you help me? You have their
90
attention like this. I want to buy 5 units this year. Can you help me? You have their attention like this.
Gotcha.
Make sure that you're prepared for the questions though. They're gonna, what's your financing like? How are you going to do this? Make sure you have everything that they're going to ask you in hand and you're not stuttering, you're not stumbling. It's quick, precise. Give them the confidence in you to want to work with you.
All right. Gotcha. Okay. Hey, Daniel, before we go to the next one, let me put up we gotta do a commercial.
I just want to make sure when you do decide on a realtor, you want to make sure that realtor has all the knowledge, more knowledge than you do in that particular area. So when we go into an area, I already know where the roads are expanding, if there's any big box stores coming in, if the hospitals are going to be expanding. If that realtor doesn't know that information, that realtor is not for you.
Gotcha.
You want to make sure that realtor responds to you immediately. If that realtor is telling you got to wait until tomorrow to talk to them, dump them. A good realtor doesn't care if they're working until 12 o'clock at night. I work until midnight. I don't care. I'll work until 1 or 2 in the morning. I've actually sent you emails at 3 in the morning, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I don't leave my desk until my job is done. I want to work with somebody that has that same energy and the same hunger and that same desire to succeed. Otherwise, I don't want them.
Gotcha. Got the desire, burning desire. Yeah. Round up. Okay, let me just let everybody know this weekend, this Thursday, guys, are going to do my land trust masterclass. Before we move on to our next bullet with Dan, make sure you 4 o'clock. So we're going to go over how to buy properties outside of your name, outside of your LLC. Join us this week, Thursday, and I will give you guys a discount on my land trust document. So I look forward to training you on that. Try to at least figure out how to get these houses out of your name if you have one. Okay. Daniel, next bullet, next team member that you think we need to have on our team.
Contractor. Never looked at it that way, Chris. I'm going to remember that one.
What?
Yeah.
Contractor. So this is a good one. I love talking to you because you have dealt with, I've dealt with a lot of guys. But I'm like, you.
First thing I learned many years ago was I never paid deposit up front, ever.
Okay, let me stay there.
If that contractor tells you they won't work without a deposit because they got to pay their men, that's not somebody I want to work with. Normally, what my partner and I do, we pay for the material. For multiple reasons, so that we don't have to pay a deposit because now that contractor is not coming out of pocket to pay for that material. In addition to, so a lot of times, and this has happened to me where The contractor orders the material, it's drop shipped, and a month later or 2 months after the job is done, I'm getting a notice that there's a workman's lien on my property because the contractor didn't pay for the material that they drop shipped at my property. So
stay here, Dan. Stay
ahead.
here. I want you to stay there, man. Rewind a little bit. I got to slow you down a little bit.
Go ahead.
Pay for materials as you. What does that look like? Why would a contractor want to work with me without getting a deposit? Why does it matter?
Again, when a contractor tells me they want a deposit and I refuse to give it to them and they decide to walk away, that's not a problem to me. There's plenty of guys out there that are willing to work, that are good, that the quality of work is done right. The best thing you could possibly do, guys, when the contractor, whatever agreement you have with that contractor, I'm going to pay, 25% when 35% of the work is done. I'm going to pay another 25% when 70% of the work is done. Whatever that deal is that you have, make sure you have no excuses on the day you're supposed to pay him. Yeah, don't hold up his money. Don't play with his money because he's got his men to pay, although you're paying for material, right? Mm-hmm. So it depends on the scope of the job is what depends on how I negotiate payment. But
why do we care, though? Why do we care, Daniel? Why would I care if I give a guy $5,000 up front, $10,000, $20,000?
They disappear. There's no reason for them to work at that point. There's no reason for them to work.
Explain the story. I mean, I've lost tens of thousands, but I've tried to get it. Explain the scenario. They come to you.
You give them the scope of the work or you give them the blueprints. Sometimes there are no blueprints because it's just renovation work where you don't need permits depending on the extent of that renovation. But, you give them the scope of the work. Everything's written down and they give you a number. And let's say it's a 2-week job and let's say we agreed to $20,000. Okay. Mm-hmm. Give me 7,000 now and I'll make sure I'm here tomorrow. Or I'll make sure I'm here in 2 days. See, I got a problem with that immediately. I'm like, if you're not busy enough that you could be here tomorrow with and if I give you $7,000 now, that's a problem. That means you don't have enough work. Why don't you have enough work?
So you're telling me let me make sure. So you're saying it's okay if the contractor can't start tomorrow or the next day.
I get very suspicious when they tell me that.
Me too.
Because if they're really that good, they're too busy to be there tomorrow.
There you go.
They're really, so
sounds like you're not mad. I'm mad. I'm like, look, if you could start tomorrow, I don't even want you. I want to deal with the guy. Put me on a schedule in 2 weeks.
I hate to say that because it does delay the schedule. Look,
I'm good with that.
I have relationships now with contractors where I could call them up and they will push back another job they may have taken to take care of me because they know that as soon as that job, let's say it's a week job, they know they're getting paid on Friday.
Got it.
Right. There's no delays with payments. So the carrot is the check, guys. The carrot is the check. Don't release the check. Unless the job is done. So
I just want to make sure I paint the picture for you all. Meet with the guy. We don't care if he can't start. What for me, I want to make sure, Daniel, I'm like, if you could start 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll have my house sit for a month. I don't care. If I know this guy is the guy, I'm like, you're the guy. I know you're the guy. Good. I have it sit for a month. People are like, Chris, your house sitting empty for a month. You daggone right. Because I know when it gets in there, it's going to get done. Daniel, are you saying that you don't mind wait? Well, now I know you don't have to wait, but I'm saying for my new investors.
No, I still have to wait. I just don't wait as long. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, you don't want to release the money because, again, a lot of contractors will walk away, and that's understandable. I got no problems. It doesn't fit within the scope of how they do business. Not a problem, but this is the way I do business. I don't pay until a certain percent is done. I pay 25% when 35% of the job is done. I pay another 25% when 70% of the job is done. And they don't get any more money until the job is 100% buttoned up.
So I want to make sure people understand you're paying for materials and then you're paying labor as it's getting completed.
Correct.
Get that, y'all. I'll put that here too.
Very important, guys. When you buy your material, do not buy more than 3 days up front. You don't want to buy. You don't want to buy the material that they need for the entire job. If
Oh
let's say if
no,
it's a 3 week job, you
it
don't buy it all in
disappear.
the same week because it grows legs.
That should disappear. We all been there, Dan. You got to tell them. I've had them pick my stuff up on the way to drop it off. The stuff they'll drop at another site and drop the stuff off.
So yeah, guys, don't. This is a learning process. Okay.
But that's why they're here. They're here to learn from people that have lost. If you could, how much do you think you've lost in contractors over the years?
Hundreds
Dan?
of thousands. Hundreds of thousands.
When you, my thing is, I wish I could have just sent somebody to college or like help somebody, with all that money.
Yeah. Listen, it's part of the business. I don't know any successful businessman that has never lost money.
That's true. That's true.
So, and anybody who's successful who says they never lost money, either they're lying to you about being successful or not losing money. But there's a lie. There's a lie in there.
Contractors, we don't give them deposits up front. I have done it in the past, but the majority, when I'm coming up, you give these dudes $1,000, man. You never see them again, Dan.
Yeah.
2,000. I'm like, what do you mean? You can't get them on the phone? And it's shocking when it first happens to you.
It is, and it's actually infuriating because they actually robbed you, right? Without even pointing a gun at you. That's what's most insulting.
Real smooth.
Yeah.
They see you coming too. They're like, I'll be 2,000. They're like, they're pushing to see if you're gonna pay it.
Guys, with the technology we have today, all you got to do is type in their personal name and their company name. It'll all come up.
Yeah.
It'll all come up before you even give them the contract.
So contractor, don't give it deposits. Don't mind waiting. Pay for materials. Anything else, Dan, you want to cover here? We're at 32 minutes.
Don't expect that a good contract will last more than the most they'll last with you is 3 to 5 years.
Why you say?
Because what happens is either they get overly comfortable and they get overly confident, thinking that they are the person that's got to get it done, otherwise you're screwed. They think you can't survive without them.
That's a rough mindset.
The other thing is, as a result of that, they start increasing their numbers. So never negotiate your numbers. Your numbers are what they are, and if they can't meet it, then you find somebody else. Mm-hmm. The other problem is life takes over. There's sometimes people get married, sometimes they move away. Illness will come into effect. There's multiple reasons. Sometimes they think they could do what you're doing better than you can and try to go do it on their own. They're saying, well, we're making this guy all this money. Why are we not making ourselves this money?
Yeah, you can't stop that one, Dan.
You can't stop it. So, a good contractors never last more than 3 to 5 years. You constantly got to be getting new estimates and challenging your existing contractors to meet those estimates. And that's how you meet new people as well.
They think you need them.
That's right.
Isn't it weird how you pay a guy? I'm like, I paid this dude $30,000 over the last few months. Why wouldn't he want to stay with me? That used to mess with me sometimes, Dan.
Yeah, it's just life. The one of the ways my partner and I have constantly found great contractors, believe it or not,
give it to us.
Is walking the neighborhood and driving the neighborhood. I see guys working. First thing I look at is how clean is their job site. How well mannered are they men? Are they men? If it's like say hot in the summer, are they walking around with no t-shirts, or are they actually wearing a company shirt, regardless of no matter how hot it is, right? Are the guys talking profanity on the job site?
Beer.
If there's any beer, of course, I would never even consider them because they're on a job site with liquor, right? Yep. And then I'll actually go and speak. A lot of times you see the owner of the property, even if it's an investment property, you could always tell who the owner is. I'll go ask them, listen, how are these guys working for you? This is, I introduce myself. This is my name. This is what I do. And not only am I introducing myself to the owner for the sake of inquiring about that contractor, because that they're going to tell me the truth. The guy's a schmuck. This is my problems that I'm having with him, or he's great, right? And at the same time, you now created it. You just increased your network, where now you're dealing with someone else in the business just like you. You never know if they're going to have a deal that they can't handle. They're going to call you up on, or they took too much inventory for their capital. Mm-hmm. Introduce yourself. Nothing could ever come wrong of it.
I like that, Dan. Walk the area.
Mhm.
We drive the areas when I was looking to start new construction. I just drove the areas to see who was building, who had dumpsters out there, and then just go introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, contractors. So our next team player, let me go pay some bills real quick. Dan, round up this coming Thursday. I got my land trust masterclass. I will give you a discount on my land trust document packet. I'm going to show you how to stop putting houses in your name when you buy them and in your LLC names without using an attorney, y'all. This Thursday, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, 4 o'clock, February 11th. Next team member, Dan.
Property manager. Assuming you want to have a property manager. I manage my own properties even from a distance because I have guys already. My contractors, if something goes wrong, there's really not much that go wrong. Most of my properties that I have from out of state are condo units. So after we renovate the units themselves, I'm not concerned about the exterior windows, roof, gardening, landscaping, pavement, sidewalks, because that's all taken care of with HOAs, right? But I am concerned about the inside of the unit. So what can possibly go wrong? A leaky faucet or toilets running. That's so mine. I call one of the guys that's on one of my jobs. He goes over that morning. It's done within the hour, right? It's just nothing major. So I don't have a property manager. However, I do use property managers to rent my properties, okay? Picking the right property manager, you don't want somebody that's lowballing what their monthly fee is, because at the end of the day, they also have overhead. They got payroll, they got office space, they have insurance, they have cars that they got to pay for.
So the fees is a big thing. You don't want somebody that's going to give you want market fees. You don't want a discounted fee.
Precisely. Well, I don't really want market fees. I'll take a point or 2 points below, but I don't. If someone comes to me with 4 points below the market fee, that's a problem, because you're going to lose service somewhere because they don't have the resources to maintain those services.
Sound like they don't have the infrastructure set up either. If they're not paying those people.
Exactly. So you want to negotiate your fees, but you don't want to negotiate. Everyone's still got to make a living, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. There's always got to be enough meat on that bone for everyone to eat. Otherwise, if 3 of you are eating and 2 of you are starving, someone's going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah, you're right. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I want you to make money. So Dan, here's the thing. I've had horrible nightmare experiences with property managers. How are you finding these good people?
Believe it or not, so when we sell to individuals and they ask us, do you have a good property manager? What we've done, although we've never had a need for it, I would give one of my condo units or one of my townhomes or even a single family home to maybe 5 to 7 different property managers in that area. And whichever one over the year performed according to the way I would perform, is the one that I would actually pick then to recommend, because I hated recommending any profession that I haven't used.
Yeah.
But most of them, I got to tell you the truth. No, I shouldn't say that. About a third of them did well. The other 2/3 didn't. And I found that the 2/3 that didn't was because they didn't have the resources or the infrastructure to do it well. It wasn't that they meant to not do it. It wasn't that they were incapable or meant not to do it well. It's just they just didn't have the infrastructure or the resources. And one of the reasons why was because they didn't have the income coming in because they negotiated their fees too low.
So 2 out of 3, Dan, that's some pretty bad number. You're saying the same thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 is bad.
Yeah. So again, guys, one of the, if you have the right realtor, she's going to direct you to the right property manager. If you have the right contractor, he's also going to direct you to the right property manager. Your title company person will direct you to the right manager. Your cleaning lady, believe it or not, the people who come in and clean the property for you after the renovations are done, they will direct you to the right property manager. Again, ask. You'd be surprised.
Who's referrals?
Who knows who? The other thing is, before you even decide to talk to whoever's a referral is, look them up on the internet. Type in their personal name. Type in the company name. A lot comes up. You'd be surprised. Go onto their Facebook pages. I don't want a property manager that is going to on their personal Facebook is sitting there every weekend with a bong in their hand and a bottle of Johnny Walker Black.
Yeah.
That tells me a lot on how they're going to run their business as well.
So for somebody that's completely new, what would be the first step for them, Dan?
Besides reaching out to and asking for referrals, is go online into that particular township and or city, look up property managers, and then there's always reviews on Google, and
Reviews.
I would go according to the reviews, assuming in addition to asking around. And then when you meet them, if they don't have the same values as far as business wise as you do, don't hire them, because it's not going to work. It's like picking someone to marry. You're in a relation. This is a relationship for the next year, guys. You know, do you want to be in a miserable relationship? Whether
Any
it's with your
specific
realtor, your property manager,
contractor?
your
Yeah.
contractor. You know,
I've had nothing but bad experiences with property managers, Dan. Anything, questions that you recommend when you sit down with them to say, hey, boom, 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 boom.
how many units you own?
How many units do you own?
Do you own?
That's a good.
Don't tell
I
me
would never
how to
thought
do my
that.
business if you haven't owned your own business doing what I do. How many units? That's my
Give a thumbs
first
up for that
question
one, y'all.
I ask. That's the first question I'll ask them. How many units do you own?
I'm scared to ask where your mind is going if they don't own any.
I won't even consider them.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
That's it. Thank you for your time. This ain't gonna work out.
Give us a thumbs up in the video description for that one. I would never have thought to ask, because no doubt of them, a lot of them are just property managers, which is that's not okay in your book.
No, it's
That's crazy.
I will not have a realtor work on my behalf if they're not also real estate investors.
Gotcha.
Because they don't understand my mindset. They don't. That's and half the battle is selling the offer. When I go in, I'm the market value is 500,000, and I'm offering you 4.25 or 390. I need that realtor to go in there and sell that offer. I want that realtor to have my thinking cap and explain to that seller why my number is that low, but also explain to the seller, Dan Borrero is going to close in 2 weeks. Dan Borrero is going to close with no inspection. It's regardless of whatever's wrong with the property, you're closing, with the exception of any cloud on title. If there's a cloud on title, then that's an issue. But if there's no cloud on title, with Dan Borrero's closing, there's a value to that.
Gotcha. All right. So we got our property. How many units do you own? I think that's a beast. That's going to get me in the door, out of the door. Okay. We have 40-something minutes, got 160 people down here. Roundup, thanks y'all for joining us. I'm hanging out with my boy, Dan Borrero. The man has been in the business since 1989. I got 40 minutes, a few more minutes, and then we're going to get to Q&A. Roundup this Thursday, I got my Land Trust Masterclass. That link will be in the video description. I'm going to give you 25% off of my Land Trust document packet, and that discount will last until Thursday. So go ahead and get registered up for that. It's free class. All you got to do is show up. What else? Oh, I forgot to even tell y'all about the foreclosure summit. That's also in the video description, y'all. If you want to join us for the foreclosure summit, I'm going to teach you how to buy and sell buy foreclosures. You can do whatever you want after you buy it. How do you locate it? How do you bid? How do you win the bid? And I've got my attorney, Bill Brunchick, my friend Bill Brunchick's coming on to do some training on the legalities as well. So, Dan, one more member, or how many members we got left to the team?
No member is just to get back. You want to also ask your contractor if he's worked with any public insurance adjusters.
Contractor, public insurance adjusters. Why is that, Dan?
Guys, contractors that have experience working with public insurance adjusters tell me that they understand, 1, the quality of the work, 2, cost factors, 3, how professional they are, because the owner of that property will never get paid the right amount of money from the insurance company if the work's not performed correctly. So that also gives me an indication of the quality of work that they're going to provide. All right.
Okay.
But the next person I would tell you that you have to create a relationship with is finding the right insurance broker, especially if you're looking to do multiple properties. Insurance is a nightmare, and you constantly got to shop that policy because they're constantly going up. If you don't shop that policy every 2 to 3 years, you're screwed. Have you not experienced that, Chris?
Oh my God. I saved, you know what, about 10 years ago, I got a new deck page, a new policy, a renewal. Shit went up 50,000. I'm calling. I'm like, why you got me covered for 180,000 when it only cost 100 to replace my? I'm sorry, it was 100 and yeah. Why you got me insured for 155,000 when it only cost 95 to rebuild this thing? Oh, whoa! We got to change that. They don't even care. They don't even care, Dan.
They don't. They do not. What I normally do is I try to keep whatever. So we have properties in Florida, New Jersey, New York. So all my New York properties, I try to find a broker that's going to value my business, understands I want to shop not the week before its expiration, at least a month and a half before expiration. I want an insurance broker that's constantly communicating with me, that's going to call me instead of me calling them saying, let's review my policies again. Let's make sure that we have enough liability. Let's make sure that we're not over covered with, for instance, the replacement value. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure that we have, like in the state of Florida, there's a lot of issue with mold. I want to make sure that I have correct coverage for mold and water intrusion. So I'm constantly reviewing them, and then I'm constantly shopping them. If my broker is not willing to shop that policy every 2 years, I'm going to go find another broker. But the reason I want to try to use one broker is because when you have multiple brokers with multiple properties, your life is miserable.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's playing musical chairs.
How do you remember? How can you even remember what check goes where? Who's getting the policy?
I have an Excel sheet for every policy. I used to do this, but now I just try to keep. I used to go whoever was cheapest for this, whoever was cheapest for that. At the end of the day, I ended up losing money, so I try to keep them all under one house.
Yeah, that's.
But I always challenge that broker. I'll let them know. Listen, numbers aren't coming in right. Would you like me to go and shop it around with another broker? And then you'd be surprised what happens.
Daniel, let me ask you: do you have, on a personal note, do you have an umbrella policy as well?
I do, but remember, the umbrella policy will not cover the company, right? And the umbrella policy would only cover so many properties. So when I first started and I had properties under my personal name, I had a $4 million umbrella policy. But after 10 properties, they kicked me off.
So what do you have now? I need to know that. What do I?
So but now everything's under LLCs, right? Because as time goes on, you become more educated and you learn more. So everything's under an LLC or a corporation. So no, for those, I don't have umbrella policies. But of course, for my car, my personal home, things like that, we do have an umbrella policy.
So insurance broker, and the last one, title company and attorney, dog.
Well, that all depends, right? So if I'm in New York and New Jersey, I definitely need a good attorney. And I want an attorney that understands my side of the business. I want an attorney that could fasten it, make the deal go faster, or is willing to figure out how to slow down the deal when I need the deal to be slowed down, put the brakes on it a little bit because I need some more time, whether it be for financing or I need more time because I don't want to own this property because my contractor told me he's a month out, right? So I don't want I don't want my money sitting in a property for a month when I could take that money and put it somewhere else and make more money with it for the next 30 days, right? So I'm slowing it down a little bit, right?
You go. I like to buy occupied rentals at the first of the month, Dan, so I can get the owner to pay me that rent. What do you say to that? Slow it down to the first.
I hate to buy rentals I hate to buy rental units with people in them because every time I've had problems, it's with renters that were there prior to me purchasing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you get the rent, that's all. You got to get rid of them.
It is a good feeling. I ain't gonna lie to you, even if it's in the 15th of the month, right? Because the rent gets prorated. It doesn't matter what day of the month. You on the day of closing, you got money
right
and
there.
hug right up front. So
There
yeah,
you
it's
go.
always good. It's a good feeling. That I'm not gonna lie
So
about.
attorney slash title company.
Title companies now in the state of Florida don't really use attorneys unless it's a deal with commercial or a deal that is over $500,000. So I also want a title company that's willing to do what an attorney's willing to do: slow it, put on the brakes when I need them to, and make it faster when I need them to. You
So
know
go ahead.
that's pretty much it.
How are we finding these people, Dan? Are you pre-screening? I want to tell you, it took me 5 years to find my title guys down here, dude. But things
It's
changed over time, though.
so I used to have a title company. I won't say their names. I'll give you an example. I tell a title when you start giving the same title company a lot of deals, they start throwing you deals. They'll start telling they'll start even throwing you wholesalers that are extremely active within the numbers that you're looking at,
Sweet.
in the areas that you're looking in, because they want to keep you busy. The busier you are, the busier they know they're going to be. Okay.
Mhm.
But you don't want a title company that is, when you call up the phone, let me call you back, and it takes them until tomorrow to call you back.
Yeah, I
Same
can't
thing
do
with
that.
communication is key. If I have to wait, I'll send the title company attorney an email 9 o'clock at night. If I don't have a response at 8 in the morning, I don't want them as representing me.
So
Because
response time is one.
that's the biggest thing is the communication process.
Well, Dan, for new people that are looking, it's from my experience, it's been kind of challenging for them to find investor friendly title companies that'll do wholesale deals and the creative financing type of transactions.
That's a trial and error process.
Can you give them something to help them with that? Because people think, well, I talked to 3 or 4 and they can't do it. Help them just to get over that hump.
All a matter of just keep calling until you find the one that can. I mean, it's just life. I tell people all the time. It's always like the pretty girl at the dance. She's never dancing because all the guys are afraid of getting rejected, right? I was a guy who wouldn't always ask the pretty girl to dance.
But me too. I'm like, what I got to
Because
lose?
they're always going to say yeah because they want to dance and nobody was asking.
So ask a lot. I think people have a picture in their mind where they're going to walk into this title place or attorney and it's going to be a match and they're going to just ride off in the sunset and they're going to be dealing with it.
I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to be insulting, but attorneys are very arrogant. And if I feel in any sense that they're talking down at me or trying to show me how much smarter they are than they
Which
are,
they all do that anyway.
I will not give them my business because it's already a challenge to our personalities. It's not going to work.
So for me, Dan, let me ask you. I got referrals from my lenders for good title companies. That's where I was able to say find the good people.
Again, and you got it because you asked, right? It's ask your realtors, ask other attorneys, ask other investors. Listen, guys, the biggest thing you could possibly do in your career is network. Other investors are not your competition.
Mm-mm.
They're another source of getting information.
Yep. I remember like it was yesterday. I remember I'm like, I'm borrowing money from these people. Maybe they know somebody that can close the deal for me. Went in there, they were like, oh yeah, we use this guy. What? Bam, finally. It took me 3 or 4 years to even ask.
Look, I've got one title company. She gets, I would say, 80% of my deals. I've been working with her for about 15 years now in the state of Florida. And now we finally found the right attorney in the state of New Jersey about 4 years ago. But before that, I must have went through about 12 attorneys.
Guys, Daniel is an expert. Been doing this since 1989, and he still has to go through a lot of people. So don't think, why would you even think? I think people, they minimize the task at hand. They think that there's going to, what's the one secret? Ain't no secret.
There is no secret.
You got to talk to a lot of people, just like I went through a lot of people try to find a wife. It's like these are people you're going to be marrying, doing business.
Guys, there is no secret to this business or any other business. It's all about the time that you're willing to put in. Are you willing to work harder than your competitor? That's what it comes down to.
Let's get to some Q&A, Dan. We done with attorneys?
Yeah, we're good.
You got to have, this is a team sport.
Just one more person I got to tell you.
Go ahead, Dan.
If you're going to do this from out of state, we always hire what we call an expediter. That expediter gets paid per task. And that expediter essentially is my eyes and my ears. They get paid to go to the job site and take a video, a live video, walking the job site while the contractors are either there or not there. It's irrelevant.
Do you find them on the internet then? You look for Google expediters?
Usually, believe it or not, the cleaning company people are the ones that are my best expediters, because they're the ones that'll call me, and the cleaning people are the ones like, oh, your contractor did this, and I got to work so much harder to clean that. And by the way, I didn't break this. It was like this already.
Oh, man.
They're the ones who don't want to be on the hook, right? Because they're the last guys in, right? So my brother and I were like, why don't we just hire the cleaning people to do this?
That's sweet.
And believe it or not, it's worked out great, because they come in with such detailed eyes. They're looking for everything. And we do everything live, and my contractor knows he's not getting paid until this expediter. And I don't ever send the same expediter twice to the same property.
Why is that?
I don't want them to talk to each other. I don't want them to become friendly with each other, the contractors and the expediters.
Oh, yeah, they'd be like, hey, come over.
Exactly.
You're crazy, Dan.
Yeah.
Round up, get some Q&A here. You got some secrets, man. You got some secrets. Let's get to some Q&A. Get your questions in the chat there as we get ready to this weekend. Got my foreclosure summit. Make sure you get registered up. The link is in the video description. If you don't see it, just refresh your screen. And the Land Trust Masterclass is this Thursday. Got some good trainings coming for you this week, y'all. It's an honor to serve you guys. It's an honor to serve you. So if you want to get your questions, Chris getting buff. Am I getting buff? No, I've been working out. I go to the gym. T5. I go to the gym every day, dog. We are answering members' questions first. So if you want to get your question out of the, I don't know, hundreds here, please join our membership and we get right to you first. Melanated Goddess. Getting your body right. That's right. Okay. Somebody's listening here to Prince. Oh, that book. Yeah, y'all got to, man. I will do that for the book thing. Somebody said they like the Machiavellian, huh?
Yeah. Great book. I actually read it when I was in college. Didn't appreciate it.
You never appreciated it.
I never read it again in my 40s and loved it after that.
You never appreciate it when you're younger. You're like, what am I doing? I don't read this mess.
Exactly.
Company name. Dan, what is your company name?
You can find me on the DanielBorrero.com, or you can go to USALandVentures.com. But if you follow DanielBorrero.com, it'll take you right to the company page. It'll also take you to my YouTube channel and Facebook, as well as Instagram.
Yep. We got 165 people on here. Dan, let's give them some good stuff. Dan, get your questions in. Candace wants to know, when you say keep it in-house, what do you mean? I think she is talking about when we're referring to contractors, Dan.
Not sure which he's referring to be honest with you.
Well, you can say your contractors are in-house.
Well, yeah. Well, essentially, we try to keep them so busy. It depends. So the ones in Florida, we try to keep them so busy that they don't really have time to take anyone else's contracts. So that stays pretty much in-house, but especially our realtors, when we're rocking and rolling, if it means like right now, so we're down to 2 in-house realtors in the state of Florida. I don't need the 5 and 6. I needed, 3 or 4
realtors.
years.
Okay.
Because the numbers just aren't there. They're not conducive for fix and flips. They're more conducive for long-term holds. And those, as a result, we're buying less.
Gotcha. In-house means, what does in-house mean? I guess, does that mean that they just work with you, Dan?
Pretty much. I try to keep them so busy. They're independent contractors. They all get 1099s. but I try to keep them so busy that they don't have time to go work for anyone else.
I got you so busy. Justin Henry says, this is great info. Just added a realtor in Florida to his team. Good for you.
Good for you.
Grow Dan, yeah, your materials will grow legs if you
They
have
sure do.
shit, man. You tell me like, well, I thought I bought 50 sheets of sheet.
Yeah. It's not the heavy stuff that disappears. It's like the
The
2x4.
wood, yeah, wood. You know what? I remember when I was younger, I would see the Mexicans, not say that it was just Mexicans, but the guys would show up with a truck with all this material. They'd be like,
Yeah,
man, what you got? How much you got? 500? How much you got? How much you got?
exactly.
I didn't know they were taking this shit from somebody else's site, Dan.
So when I was a kid, my father owned a building up the corner. He had one property. It was oil heat. So he would make me go stand out in the cold while the guy was pumping the oil from the truck into the tank and watch the meter. And I'd be like, why am I got to do this, right? Because then the guy comes in and says, all right, this is just how many gallons we pump. This is what you got to pay us this much per gallon. Well, I quickly realized what would happen is that same guy would go around to other landlords. They ordered 500. They ordered 150 gallons. Well, he'll dump 145. The next guy ordered 200 gallons. He'll dump 190. Because on your meter, you can't really tell that 5 or 10 gallons, right? When the homeowner. And at the end of the day, he would come back to my father and tell him, I've got 100 gallons. Let's say if it was $2 a gallon, now he's going to give it to my father for $1 a gallon. Because he's got to get rid of 100 gallons that he robbed from, 10 people, 5 gallons. He had 10 gallons there. So it's part of the business, guys.
These dudes hustling, ain't they? You know what? I know the cement guy does that.
Yeah.
He has cement. He's driving around. At the end of the day, he's got.
Yeah, because the contractors will order 4 yards, right? Because they're telling you you're going to pour 4 inches of concrete. But now they only pour an inch, rather 3.5 inches, or that half an inch of concrete could add up to another 2 yards that they could finish another job with. That they, charge that other homeowner for the 2 yards.
And they don't even know. They don't even know,
That's
Dan.
why, I go there. I got my measuring tape. I'm measuring 4 inches. Yeah.
I'm watching you pour. They have a little meter as it comes off the truck.
That's
I'm
right.
like, man, shoot. Let me see. You gotta anyway round up. This is good information. You listen to guys like us. We've been doing it together, Dan. What is that? Almost 50 years. Sheesh.
Probably. Yeah.
Round up. Get your questions in, man. This is some good
I gotta
stuff.
tell you to your audience. Everybody wants their hands in your pocket.
Oh man.
That's the biggest.
Even to the city
doesn't matter who it is. Everybody wants their hands in your pocket. Your contractors, your realtors, your title agents, your attorney, everybody.
City, state, federal.
Yeah. So keep your hands in your pocket so that they can't take them.
170 people, Dan. Moin the city. How much over budget do jobs end up, Dan? I know for me, every one of them.
It doesn't happen as much with me. Because but we're estimating. I'm also putting into my estimate. So the older the home, depending on the extent of the work, I'm adding. Depending on the age of the home and the extent of the work is what I extend. It's what I add extra for.
You're already adding it in
correctly.
I think you mentioned that the other night when we were talking on Instagram, I believe.
Yep.
Well, I just imagine the renos you deal with. I mean, good God.
The older the home, you're going to have more difficulties with asbestos, especially if you're in any of the cities, or lead or galvanized pipe, especially if it's pre-war construction. If it still has the old struck light up on the walls, you got to assume that it's galvanized. You're going to assume that there's lead behind there. You're going to assume that there's asbestos. You got to assume these numbers when you're trying to figure out if the property's worth buying, right? You got to add those additives. Now, if it's not in there, then that's more profit. But you have to always assume it's going to be in there.
Add it up, especially with foreclosures too. Just assume that is all. You got to do it all.
That's right.
Marianne says she found all her contractors driving the neighborhood. Good for you. Good way.
Yeah, it's a great way to find them. Great way to find them.
Danny. Central Florida has a bunch of contractors that are crooks too. Pay deposit and they'll show how great of a magician they are.
They sure are. That doesn't just mean for the Central Florida. I have a lot of units in the Central Florida. I do a lot of business in Altamont Springs, Winter Gardens, Winter Springs, Point Siena area. I'm going to tell you that they will they all disappear, and that's one of the reasons why I never pay.
I think we all learn not to pay up front. Dan, you're awesome. MTTM Book Space. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're here to serve. Dana, we're finding that window and floor companies are asking for half down before ordering starting. Should we pay that, Dan? Tell them
That's
about
different.
windows now too.
So windows, yes, because they got to get that manufactured, and they have to also make a deposit.
That's materials.
That's material.
We're talking about labor. Tell them, Dan, what you're talking. Make sure you break that down.
Talking about the labor side, right? So for materials, of course, I'll pay a deposit, right? Flooring, yeah, I'm going to pay the deposit because I'm actually sure that it's actually delivered that same day, or the next day, right? And what I normally would do with that is I'll put it on my credit card. So if there's any dispute, I could always have the credit card disputed on my behalf.
There you go. Smart.
I won't pay that with a check. No.
Pay for materials. Let them work up to the labor. That way you're walking in, you're ahead of the game. And if they're not willing to do that, if they're not willing to pay their guys a week, even just if you don't know them, just see if they'll work a week. What do you think about that, Dan?
Again, if it's a week job, I tell them all the time, I says, why do you want a deposit if it's only going to take you a week? You're going to have it. We start on Monday, and it's only going to take you a week. On Friday, you're done. You got your money.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
more into the city. Do you have a penalty fee for contractors and agreements, Dan?
Depending on the extent of the work and depending on the contractor themselves and my history with that contractor. So I've got a contractor. The guy's exceptionally good. I mean, his attention to detail is phenomenal.
Better keep him.
Problem is, he's so damn busy. He holds me up sometimes.
Yeah, he's gonna be busy. What do you do?
He doesn't know how to say the word no, and as a result of him being a nice guy and not being able to say no, he takes on more work than he could possibly handle within the time span that he's supposed to finish sometimes. So with him, yeah, I'll put in a penalty, but I also put in a bonus if he finishes it before time.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Smacky Faves. What are y'all doing with these names? I'm a broker, investor, and owner. It feels good to be able to see things from all angles.
Absolutely. And kudos to you, because I'm sure you're able to help your real estate investors so much more than just a realtor that has absolutely no experience as being an owner.
Yeah. Hey, send me Smacky Faves. Smacky Faves. Send me a message, chris@chrishaskins.com. I'd like to get your opinion on if you're a broker, investor, and an owner. That's kind of like your brother's not a broker, though, is he?
He's a realtor.
Yeah, so that would be a good one. What up, Eleanor? How you doing, my brother? Todd, Daniel will be hooking up with Todd. He's a broker in Baltimore, doing an interview with him tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. We definitely somebody when we go back down to Baltimore we want to talk to.
Yeah, he's got some good stuff. Clip Clop Coalition Restoration Contractors out of Dallas. Good for you. Okay. Attorney or retainer. Sachs Realtor. Attorney or retainer. I don't know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means either.
Delonda. Hey, do you guys have a good title company, insurance company, contractors, and attorneys in Philadelphia? She wants it all.
I do not. I can't recommend anybody in that area.
Rewind this tape and go back. And Bigger Pockets is a good resource too, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys on Instagram and Facebook that are doing big deals and, that are doing deals in those areas. I would, send them a private message and ask them.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at, how many people are willing to help.
Damn, we've got 183 people here want to hear what thus saith Dan Borrero. Derek. Hey, Derek. As a new investor, should I rely on a simple walkthrough or invest in a contractor for accurate numbers? So, Dan, you're in a different boat. You got to you go back in time, bro.
I would invest in a contractor. Or, better yet, just get an engineer's report. Engineer's report, they really cover themselves, including they'll tell you, look, the boiler is 20 years old. It's in great working condition, but it's on its last leg as far as its lifespan, according to the manufacturer. And this is where you could find this. Invest the money on engineer reports. Most of the time, they do an extremely good job.
So when you say engineer report, are you referring to a home inspection?
Correct. Well, here in New York, we call them engineer reports. Yeah.
Good guy. Y'all fancy men, New York people. Derek Lewis. Guys, if you want your questions answered first, just join the membership. It's less than a cup of coffee for the month. Uh, TY, I've been wrestling with this one. GC or get the subs. Yeah, I'm GC, man.
I'm the GC and I sub everything out under my insurance. So essentially, I bring in, that's an additional 30 to 35% less that I could bring the job in under.
You can,
Yeah.
but Dan, how in the hell do you manage all? But okay, I
You got
see
to
you.
remember, I have a partner, right? So my partner is the one who actually deals more with the contractors than I do,
Uh
uh,
huh.
pending. So if it has to do with the state of Florida, New Jersey, David handles that. If it has to do with anything to do with New York, then I'll handle the contractors as well. We both, there's two main heads here. So it's a lot easier to do those type of numbers when you have two people who have the same experience. We've been doing this together since 1989.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
T5YL4, you ain't got that. So you better get you. See, here's the thing. I found out real quick. You better know a little bit about floor tile. Better know a little bit about subfloor. Little bit about framing. Little bit about sheetrock. I could go on and on and on. Because these fools, the room could be out of square. They might not put a jack in the wall. I mean, it could be so many little things that's why
Yeah.
your GC. See, Daniel can. I'm not recommending everybody hire people because Daniel knows A to Z.
Well, it comes with experience, guys. You're never going to learn it unless you do it. You could sit there and learn and look, read and read and read. You could sit there and go
No,
podcast
no,
after
you
podcast.
can't read
You could sit there and go to YouTube channel after YouTube channel. At the end of the day, if you don't get your hands in it, you're not. All you have is theory. It's not actual
theory.
experience. So stop over analyzing and just get in it and do it.
Yeah, yeah. Good point, Dan. Armando, how soon should you convert a rental property from a sole proprietor to an LLC? Does it matter the number of rental properties? I'm like, Daniel, that.
Yeah, I actually did. I did an interview with John Kokalakis, who's an attorney here out of New York,
Yeah.
who's a business attorney. And if you go to my YouTube channel, usalandventures.com, and essentially, I don't recommend, and Chris will tell you the same thing. You should never have any property under your personal name,
Oh
ever.
my gosh.
Ever. And
Crazy.
then as far as whether it's an LLC or an S corporation or C corporation, that
That's
you
up to
need to,
the
you need to speak to
accountant.
your attorney and your accountant, primarily your accountant.
Yep.
Depending on what state you live in, they could guide you to which one of those identities is best for tax implications.
We got one more. Listen, guys. I can't get. I've had Daniel here for an hour already. I gotta get it cut out of here. If you want to get your questions answered first, just join the membership. It's like a cup of coffee, y'all. Just if you go to you'll see it right below. It'll say join. So now, being that I want to bring best value to you and honor my guests' time, I have to make it so where the people that invest in us get to get their questions answered first. So last question, Daniel, then we'll get you out of here. When they're purchasing the materials for the contractor, do we give them the money to buy it, or should we personally get the materials ourselves?
So I
Let's do the
never
same
give
thing
the
here.
contractor money to go buy material.
Tell them why, Dan.
Because again, they disappear. It's the same thing as giving them a deposit. That's why you're not giving them the deposit. That's your argument. I'm not going to give you the deposit because there's no money out of pocket on your behalf. And their argument is, yeah, I got to pay my labor. Okay, not a problem. So the agreement is I give you 25% of your labor, of the cost of the labor, of the job when you finish 35% of the job. So finish 35% of the job by Friday, and you'll have 25% of your labor costs. So there's an incentive for them to move quickly. There's an incentive to work, an hour or two extra every day. There's an incentive for them to do the job properly because otherwise you're not going to pay them their labor, right? So at the end of the day, you want to pick up the material. I mean, I do have work trucks here in New York, and I do it for New Jersey. My brother and I do it for New Jersey. In Florida, we have it all delivered. It all depends on what the cost is for that delivery, but again, that's part of the shopping of material. The other reason why I pay for the material is because I get discounts now. If I go to the same plumbing supply
So
house,
much stuff.
the same electrical supply house,
Yeah.
the same lumber supply house, they know who I am now. They don't know they no longer care who the contractor is. And now I'm getting the wholesale price rather than the retail price.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
paying
another
for it.
cost savings.
You're the one paying for it. They want to know who you are.
Right.
Roundup has been Daniel Borrero. Dan, final thoughts, man. Let's get you out of here. People that are getting started to put together their team. I remember you said, just do it.
Yeah, guys, it's
No
all
more
about
detail than that.
doing it. Like I said, when Chris first called me and he asked me these questions, I said, Chris, I don't know. I just do it. If you don't get out there and do it, it doesn't matter how much you prepare as far as listening to Chris Haskins, listening to myself, whoever else you're listening to, it doesn't matter. You got to get out there and just do it. That's the best way to learn. And you're going to lose money, but you're going to lose a lot less than Chris and I lost because of this platform right here. And you got the perfect guy that's teaching you right here, Chris Haskins.
Yeah, subscribe. What's your channel on YouTube, Dan?
USA Land Ventures. But again, you go to my name, Daniel Borrero Jr. at .com. You'll find it'll take you right to my webpage, and you could sign up for all of my channels. We do a free mentorship class every Wednesday at 6 p.m. All you have to do is sign up at USA Land Ventures. Chris has been a guest on twice for us. And as a result of Chris' encouragement, I now have a YouTube channel, USA Land Ventures. Please bless me with a subscription. We're trying to increase our algorithm with our YouTube channel.
You're the man, Dan. You're worth it.
You're the man.
Subscribe. One last thing I want to leave y'all. Dan, when you say just do it, I want to make sure when you say just do it, could you just, to me, it's almost like I'm looking, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I'm looking to fail. I'm like, okay, let's try this shit, man. Is it going to work? I don't know. I didn't even know when we did Baltimore, we did this, we do this, we talk about this. We don't know if this stuff's going to work. It's like, even when I hire a new contract, is it going to work? But I'm not caught up with just this one person or this one thing. Dan, when you say just do it, are you saying just go out there and try to
make the deal happen? Look,
get it over with?
Chris Birch, Chris Haskins, and I, we met up in Baltimore, 3 months ago?
We drove out of town to go there.
So I went from New York. Chris Birch came from DC. Chris Haskins came from Virginia, Hampton, Virginia. And we went up there to buy 10 properties in the auction, right? Of course, the properties went up to a bigger number than we were prepared to pay because of the conditions of the unit. Did we know it was going to work when we went up there to look at these properties to see if we could buy these properties? Absolutely not. But you know what did work? Our network increased. I mean, Chris, what did you get? I was just looking at that. I think the tape, the first video we put out that you put out,
it's like 60,000 views on that, man.
I actually checked it. It's 56,000 views, guys. 56,000 views on one video on Chris Haskins' YouTube channel. The second video got, I think, 15,000 views?
Something like that.
Right. So we met the actual person who bought the property, and we asked him, the numbers didn't work for us, but why did they work for you? And he was able to actually give us all new different ideas on why, and he approached it from a different angle than we did. Now, I still wouldn't have done it for the number that he bought it for. I don't think Chris Haskins.
I'm trying to get him back on here too to see if he can explain that too.
But it's a different perspective. We got to benefit from it. Did it cost us money to go? Did it cost us time to go? Absolutely. But we created more relationships.
Yeah.
We were able to spread our knowledge, to 56,000 more viewers.
And we met the owner and the realtor.
And we got their perspectives on why he was selling and what he was going to do with the funds to make more money with versus, the buyer and the realtor's perspective. Guys, at worst, you create more relationships.
At worst.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a new member, Marianne Shelton. Woo, welcome. Welcome. So your questions we're going to answer first. We got we met the owner, the buyer, and I'm like, dude, this is worth driving somewhere. But the thing is, we were there.
Show up. That's the biggest thing. Showing up,
right?
Yeah, show up.
What else we got? Okay, Dan, I gotta just pay some more bills. My land trust class this Thursday, 4:00, and get registered for the foreclosure summit, y'all. These links are in the video description here. Dan, it's always an honor to talk to you.
Oh man, the honor was mine. Thank you for having me on, Chris. I love doing these things with you, man. Anytime you need to fill in a spot, feel free to give me a call. Your audience is always the best. They're always coming up with great questions, and I can't say anything bad about them all.
We got some more questions, but obviously we're out of time. But Dan and I we're working on trying to put together training to help y'all. So continue putting questions in the comments so Dan and I can go back through and pull these questions and put.
It's gonna be up on YouTube. I'll answer them as well. And again, Chris and I are doing every Sunday night at 7:30 on my Instagram channel, USA Land. It's USA_land_ventures, which is also at my website that you could go to just by clicking on DanielBorrerojr.com. We do that every Sunday at 7:30, and we're just talking real estate. Any questions you want to ask, you could ask us.
Yeah, I wish I had somebody that I could have. One of my mentors just recently died last year, man. So it's like, man, you guys I'm trying to get it out of you as much as I can, man. I don't want y'all to take this information. It needs to be spread out.
Guys, every Wednesday on Instagram Live, join us.
Last thing, Dan, remember when I met you? I'm like, you do what? You got what? And you don't got a freaking check.
Yeah. So when Chris met me, what is it, a year and a half now, Chris?
Huh? Yeah. What a year and a half.
And he said, will you come on my YouTube channel? I was like, what do you do on YouTube? And he started telling me. And that night, I was like, yeah, let's try this. And with Chris's encouragement, I've started my YouTube channel. I think I only had maybe 3,000 followers on Instagram. I'm almost at 18,000 now.
Holy cow. You're a big deal.
So, guys, I've got a lot to thank Chris Haskins for his encouragement on pushing social media.
All right. Like the content, smash that thumbs up down there and share with any other investors that are needing to put together their team. This is a team sport. This is a team. Just remember that. If you can't do it,
you need the right team, you need the right workers, and most importantly, thank them. You'd be surprised.
Thank them, pay them. Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. Be surprised how far an honest and sincere thank you will take you.
Man, it go a long way. Long way. I'm telling you, Dan, we bought a house last week. I didn't even see it because I thank God I have a team that can go out and I trust them to take pictures and it's done.
Right.
Well, I can do other stuff, right?
That's right.
Okay, Roundup, I love you. I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you join so we answer your questions first. We got some phenomenal guests coming up and the book club. I'm working on getting Dennis Kimbrough, the book club this month. This is Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. If you missed a Saturday, so if you want to join that, just go to chrishaskins.com or chrisbookclub.com. We'll be discussing that. I'm working on getting him on so y'all can ask questions. Roundup, I'll see you soon on the next video. Peace.
Take care, guys. Take it easy. Good night.